You have been lied to. Not with malice, perhaps, but through ignorance. You've seen the dark red circles on the backs of athletes and celebrities, and you've been told it is a recovery tool, a modern biohack for sore muscles. You believe cupping therapy is something you do after you've pushed your body too hard, a reactive measure to deal with pain. I am here today as a man who will soon see his 80th year pass, with the clarity and strength of a man half my age, to tell you that you have been using it and thinking about it completely wrong. This is not a tool for recovery. It is a pillar of longevity. What the West has adopted as a trend, my brothers and I, and our masters before us for 1,000 years, have practiced as a fundamental secret to outliving everyone else, and not just in years, but in vitality. What you see as a treatment for an ailment, we see as the art of preventing the ailment from ever taking root. So please, grant me a few moments of your time. I will share with you not the how-to of a fleeting therapy, but the why of a lifelong philosophy. My name is Shi Yan Ling. I entered the monastery as a young boy when the world outside was in chaos. Inside our walls, we cultivated a different kind of world, one of balance, discipline, and a profound understanding of the vessel that carries our spirit, the body. While the world outside was discovering new ways to create convenience, we were preserving ancient ways to cultivate strength. A core part of this cultivation is what we call Bhagwan, the practice you know as cupping. To understand how we use it to live so long and so well, you must first forget what you have been told. It is not about your muscles. Not really. It is about the invisible rivers that flow within you, the channels of energy or ki that dictate every aspect of your health, from the clarity of your mind to the robustness of your immune system. In our understanding, all illness, all aging, all decay begins with one thing: stagnation. When the river of qi stops flowing freely, it becomes a swamp. And in a swamp, disease flourishes. Modern science, in its own way, is beginning to validate what our ancestors knew through observation and intuition. When a cup is placed on the skin and the air is removed, the vacuum creates a powerful suction. Scientists will tell you this causes localized negative pressure. They have observed that this dramatically increases blood circulation to the area. They call this vasodilation. We call it inviting the river to flow. This fresh, oxygenated blood rushes to the area, bringing with it nutrients and the building blocks of life, while simultaneously flushing away metabolic waste, toxins, and the cellular debris that contributes to inflammation and pain. Think of it as opening the floodgates to a parched field. The new blood nourishes the tissues, revitalizes the cells, and clears out the blockages that cause discomfort and, over time, chronic disease. The dark marks you see are not bruises in the typical sense of injury. They are a visual representation of the stagnation and toxins being pulled from the deeper tissues to the surface, where your body's circulatory and lymphatic systems can finally process and eliminate them. It is a sign of cleansing, not damage. Furthermore, scientific studies have shown that this process does more than just move blood. It has a profound effect on the immune system. The controlled, localized microtrauma created by the suction triggers a beneficial inflammatory response. Your body perceives this as a small, manageable challenge and sends its best defenders, white blood cells, platelets, and other healing agents, to the area. This process doesn't just clean up the cupped region, it puts your entire immune system on a low-level, healthy alert. It's like a training exercise for your internal army. In our monastery, we often perform cupping at the change of seasons, not because we are sick, but to prepare our bodies for the new environmental challenges, to expel the cold of winter or clear the heat of summer. Science is now describing this as immunomodulation, a sophisticated way of saying we are tuning our immune response to be more efficient and resilient. We have been tuning our bodies this way for centuries, which is why a common cold is a rare visitor within our walls, while in the world outside it is a seasonal guarantee. The benefits science has measured do not stop there. The negative pressure physically stretches the fascia, the web of connective tissue that encases your entire body, from your muscles to your organs. Modern life, with its long hours of sitting and repetitive motions, causes this fascia to become tight, restricted, and glued together. This is a primary source of chronic pain, stiffness, and limited mobility that so many people accept as a normal part of aging. When the cup pulls the tissue upward, it separates these fused layers. It creates space. It rehydrates the tissue. Scientists call this myofascial release. We call it creating room for life to flow. When your fascia is supple and free, your movements are easier, your posture improves, and the energy channels that run through this tissue are open and unobstructed. An 80-year-old man in the city can barely climb a flight of stairs. I can still perform my morning martial forms with the grace and power of a flowing river because my body is not a cage of stiff tissue. It is a fluid, adaptable vessel. This is the science, but the true monastic secret lies in the application, which is an art guided by a lifetime of knowledge. We do not place the cups randomly on a sore back. We place them on specific acupressure points along the body's meridians, the very same points used in acupuncture. Each point is a gateway to a specific organ system. A cup on one point on the back might be to strengthen the kidneys, the foundation of our constitutional energy. Another point might be to clear stagnation from the liver, which is responsible for the smooth flow of qi throughout the body and is often burdened by stress and anger. Another set of points might be to fortify the lungs, which govern our defensive qi and our first line of defense against external pathogens. We are not just chasing pain, we are rebalancing the entire ecosystem of the body. We are tending to the garden of our internal organs, ensuring each plant is watered, nourished, and free of weeds before it ever shows signs of sickness. This is the profound difference between a reactive and a proactive approach to health. The Westerner cups his shoulder because it hurts. The monk cups his back to ensure his kidneys function powerfully for another decade. I will be 80 soon. I wake before the sun, my mind is clear. I spend hours in deep meditation without my back aching or my knees complaining. I tend the monastery gardens, my hands are strong. I can still walk the mountain paths without losing my breath. I attribute this vitality to the holistic path I have walked, and cupping has been a trusted companion on this path. I perform it on myself every few weeks, not on a schedule, but by listening to my body. I can feel when the energy is becoming sluggish, when the dampness of the rainy season is beginning to settle in my joints, or when the stress of a difficult world event I have learned of has subtly tightened my shoulders and constricted the free flow of my liver qi. It is a conversation with my own body, a continuous act of maintenance. It is a conversation that, with a heavy heart, I must admit some of my own family never learned to have. I had a younger cousin, Wei. He left the village for the big city. He was a good man, ambitious. He chased wealth and success. He ate the fast, convenient food of the city. He drank sugary drinks and stayed up late under artificial lights, staring at screens. He lived under constant stress. When his back ached, he took a pill. When he couldn't sleep, he took another. He saw my cupping marks once on a visit and laughed, calling them old-fashioned foolishness. 10 years ago, he died of a heart attack. He was not yet 60. His body was a swamp of stagnation created by a life of stress, poor nutrition, and a complete disconnection from his own internal energy. No amount of pills could clear the swamp. They only masked the smell. I also had a sister, Lee. She was gentle and kind, but she put her faith entirely in the modern system. For every ache, there was a diagnosis. For every diagnosis, a prescription. She had high blood pressure, diabetes, and arthritis. Her life became a complicated schedule of medications. The doctors were brilliant, I am sure, but they were treating the leaves of the tree. One pill for the blood pressure, another for the blood sugar, a third for the joint pain. They never addressed the root. Why was the pressure high? Why was the sugar imbalanced? In our language, her root chi was weak and her internal systems were in disharmony. Her body was crying out for rebalancing, for cleansing, for a restoration of flow. Instead, it was given chemicals that forced a result but never solved the underlying problem. She passed away 5 years ago from complications related to her many illnesses. Her last years were spent in a chair, a prisoner in her own body. I tell you these stories not to speak ill of the dead, but to honor them with the truths. They are a stark reminder that the choices we make, the wisdom we choose to embrace or ignore, has the most profound consequences. So you see, cupping, for us, is not a stand-alone miracle. It is part of a symphony. It is a powerful instrument, but it needs the rest of the orchestra to create beautiful music. The other instruments are a tranquil mind, cultivated through meditation, a strong and flexible body, cultivated through mindful movement, like Qigong or Tai Chi, and perhaps most importantly, the foundation of it all, the food you use to build your body. You cannot clear a river with cupping if you are pouring poison into it upstream. The most potent cupping session in the world will be a temporary fix if you leave the monastery and eat a meal of greasy, processed, chemical-laden food. That kind of food creates the very stagnation, inflammation, and dampness that we work so hard to clear. It is like trying to build a strong temple with rotten wood. It is an impossible task. The energy, the qi that we cultivate comes from two primary sources, the air we breathe and the food we eat. The quality of these sources determines the quality of our life force. In the monastery, our food is simple, but it is pure, and it is chosen for its energetic properties. We eat certain foods in the spring to support the liver, different foods in the autumn to nourish the lungs, and powerful herbs and roots to build our core energy. We understand that food is not just calories, it is information. It is medicine. A simple bowl of congee with specific herbs can do more to strengthen your digestion than any pill. A tea made from goji berries and jujube dates can nourish your blood and calm your spirit in ways that an energy drink can only mimic with a chemical rush that leaves you more depleted than before. The modern world is full of food that is energetically dead, or worse, energetically toxic. It creates blockages. It fuels inflammation. It shortens your life. This is the knowledge that truly underpins our longevity. Cupping helps us maintain the temple, but the food is what the temple is built from. For decades, students and visitors have asked me to share this knowledge. They see my vitality, they hear my story, and they want to know the foundation. While I cannot bring you all to the monastery kitchen, I have done my best to bring the kitchen's wisdom to you. I have spent the last year compiling the nutritional knowledge passed down through generations of masters, a secret guide to the way we eat for a long and vital life. It is not a diet, it is a philosophy of nourishment. It is about understanding the natural superfoods, simple, powerful ingredients from the earth that build your blood, clear inflammation, strengthen your organs, and give you the foundational energy that makes practices like cupping so profoundly effective. So, I invite you to take the next step. I have shared with you one of our great secrets for keeping the body's rivers flowing. But the most powerful changes begin with the fuel you provide your body. If you are tired of feeling sluggish, if you are worried about the chronic diseases that seem to be an inevitable part of modern life, if you truly desire not just to live longer, but to live better, then the wisdom in this guide is your starting point. It will teach you how to stop eating the foods that are shortening your life and start embracing the foods that have allowed me and my brothers to live with strength and clarity for decades beyond our peers. Click the link in the description below to get my secret guide, The Monk's Table, Eating for 100 Years of Vitality. Reclaim the foundation of your health. Stop building your temple with rotten wood. Thank you for your time and your open mind. Remember, your body is not your enemy. It is not a machine that breaks down. It is a garden. It is a sacred temple. It has an incredible innate intelligence and a powerful desire to be in balance. You only need to learn its language and give it the tools and the materials it needs to thrive. Cupping is a powerful tool. Mindful movement is a powerful tool, but the true foundation is what you put on your plate. Start there. May your chi flow freely, may your body be strong, and may your path be long and filled with vibrant health. Amituofo.